Okay, it's time for another one of my Eternal Mylite Project videos. This one is going to be a little shorter, and as you can see I have a comic sitting up there right now. You're looking at the back side. That's how I seal them. I use blue painter's tape, and I have a little label up in the upper left hand corner that actually tells a little bit about the comic. It gives the name, the date, the issue number, and the condition that I've decided it's in, and as well as anything that I might have done to the comic. It also would include any information as to, is it a key issue, what does it have, is it a special cover art or something like this. For instance, this comic is the 3D Zone, number 16 by Ray Zone. It's near mint, and it has a gorgeous cover by Dave Stevens. I believe it was published in 1989, and I just really love that cover. Next I have an 80-page giant from 1964. Number 3. This is Lois Lane, 80-page giant. When I was young, in 1964 as a matter of fact, I saw this on the newsstand and I wanted to buy it, but I was with my friends, and you know, it was kind of we always saw that as a girl's comic, so of course I didn't buy it at the time. I went back later the next week by myself to get it, and it was gone. There were no copies of this on the newsstand. And I was bummed, for, 15, 20 minutes, because I was like 9 years old, so 9, 10 years old, something like that. So it didn't last long. I got distracted by other things. But I kind of put it in the back of my mind, I want that comic. 1970 rolls around. I start collecting comics a little more seriously. I have forgotten all about this book. Never even gave it a second thought. A couple months ago, I was watching a YouTube video, and I will, in the comments below when I get ready to upload this, I will actually tell you exactly who and give a link to their channel so you can watch them, because they're good. I believe it was the silver-haired Bronze Age babe. She featured this comic on her channel, and I'm going, oh, I want that. I've wanted that for 50 years. Why don't I have it? Jumped on YouTube, or jumped on eBay, started looking around, saw a couple of copies that were overpriced, thought, I'm not buying those. Can't trust the condition of the seller. Saw this one, thought, a little pricey, looked at who was selling it, Lee's Comics, hit the buy it now button, because I've known Lee for years and he is absolutely trustworthy. If he says a comic is in a certain condition, that's the condition the comic is in. That's how I came to get this comic. Next I have Action 327 from 1965. This is a fine plus copy. It's got a baby Superman. It's got a Superman. It's got the geriatric Superman. 3 different generations. It just brings a smile to my face every time I look at the cover, and that's why I included it in this one. The next comic is from 1981. I have it rated as good plus. I might have made a mistake on that. And it's Amazing Spider-Man, number 194, first appearance of Black Cat. If you do not have this comic book in your collection, my only question is why not? I'm not a Spider-Man collector. I have it. It is just, to me, it's one of those must-have comics. And if you'll notice, mine is the direct market edition, which for 1981 is a little bit more rare than the newsstand edition. Next, a comic that came out recently that I think everybody should consider getting. Batman Giant #1. This is the mass market. It's no longer exclusive to Walmart, although some Walmarts still carry them. You should be able to get this at your local comic shop. Order it online, whatever you need to do. It's got 3 or 4 new stories in it. It was just a lot of fun. Next, I'm going to go with some comics that came out in 1975. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. These are some of my Atlas comics from the Atlas Seaboard collection. I have all of the comic-sized comics now. I'm missing one of the magazines, and I have one of the magazines that's coverless that I need to replace. And I won't show them until I have all of those. And these are only the first issues. This is Barbarians #1 featuring Ironjaw. The Brute #1. Cougar #1. Demon Hunter #1. And The Destructor #1. From there we'll go to The Grim Ghost #1. Hands of the Dragon #1. Ironjaw #1 with that beautiful Neil Adams cover. Worth getting. Not that hard to find. And it is actually the first appearance of Ironjaw. Barbarians was not the first appearance of Ironjaw. Morlock 2001 #1. Phoenix #1. Planet of the Vampires #1. Another beautiful cover. Police Action #1. Savage Combat Tales #1. The Scorpion #1. Tales of Evil #1. Target #1. And Tiger Man #1, which, oh, that story is bad. Sorry, I love the Ernie Colin art. The story is so bad. Weird Suspense #1, featuring the Tarantula. West in Action #1. Now, there's another war comic that I didn't pull. I'm not sure why. I just skipped over it for some reason. And then there's another comic that obviously I've missed, haven't I? Does that mean I don't have it? Oh yeah, I've got it. Vicky #1. The 4 Vicky comics are probably the hardest ones to find and definitely the most expensive. They're reprints from earlier comics. I don't remember which ones they reprint, but definitely worth picking up. Like the comic, like the story. Of course, it's very similar to the Archie series, which is what I think they were trying to compete with. All in all, fun stuff. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you the next time.